I'll return to our top story. Israel says it has killed Iran's top security chief in an overnight strike. Ali Larijani was one of Iran's most powerful decision makers. If this is confirmed by Tehran, he would be the latest addition to a growing list of top officials killed by Israel since the start of the war. Israel also reporting the assassination of Gholamreza Soleimani. He's the head of Basij, that's Iran's paramilitary force, in last night's attack. More than 2 weeks of war proving deadly for top Iranian officials. Former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei killed in joint US-Israeli strikes, along with former Defense Minister Aziz Nazirzadeh, Ali Shamkhani, former Defense Council Chief, and Abdul Rahim Mousavi, former Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. James Dorsey is an adjunct senior fellow at S. Rajaram School of International Studies from Nanyang Technological University. He joins us live from Chiang Rai, Thailand. Dr. Dorsey, we just reeled off some names killed in the last 17 days. If we have looked at how Iran has conducted this war, clearly it has adapted to any killings at the very top level.
It's been very resilient. It's built its system to be able to withstand these kind of blows. The death of Ali Larijani, if confirmed, is major. He was probably the former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's most trusted national security advisor and was expected to play a major role in the rule of the just recently appointed Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei. He was also widely viewed as a pragmatist. And so in essentially in killing Ali Larijani, it may have also been not only an attempt to deal a body blow to the Iranian regime, but also to ensure that whatever back-channeling diplomatic efforts to end the war may have been going on, that they come to an end.
So are you suggesting that Israel is deliberately killing off any chance of diplomacy resolving this war?
One, I don't think that the Israelis have an interest at this point in an end to the war. They've publicly declared what their aim is, which is regime change. They've also said that they think they need at least another 3 weeks before there could be any discussion of an end to the war. I think the other side of this is something that very few people have remarked on. But Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, was killed on the first day of the war in his office. It was almost as if he wanted to be killed there if he were to be killed. Ali Larijani was in the streets of Tehran in recent days with no visible armed bodyguards, could have been attacked at any given moment. He was there at pro-government rallies, granted a comfortable environment, a relatively comfortable environment. But nonetheless, he was there without bodyguards. And I think that's something that's noteworthy in terms of what the Iranians expect and certainly what Iranian leaders expect and are willing to accept.
So that handwritten note released in just the last few hours by Iranian leadership on Ali Larijani's social media account, that suggests he might have been prepared, if Israel is right, for this particular end.
I think he was definitely prepared. I have no doubt about it. And I also believe that his succession is prepared. In fact, there were reports before the death of the supreme leader on February 28 that he had introduced 4 layers of succession of senior officials to ensure that the system would survive. So I have no doubt that he was anticipating this, or in any case, accepting that it was a possibility. The note itself seems to be a poor PR attempt to bridge a gap while the regime and the government figures out how they want to publicly handle this.
4 layers of leadership as we progress, or I wouldn't say use the word progress, as we move from layer to layer, as Israel continues its assassinations through Iranian leadership. Are we looking at more and more hardline?
I think what you've seen, certainly in the replacements of commanders of the military, the security services, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, that those that replace those that have been assassinated are largely far more hardline. So I think you're going to see a hardening of the lines on both sides of the divide. With other words, by the Iranians, but also given that U.S. President Donald Trump is in a bind with regard to the Strait of Hormuz, you could see Israel and the United States seeing this as a major body blow that sets the stage for trying to finish Iran off.
All right. So with Iran digging in with potentially more hardline replacements for Ali Larijani and other Iranian leadership, and the US and Israel seeing this as a victory, we're looking at further extension of this conflict.
I don't think that either Iran nor Israel wants an end to this conflict. I don't think that Trump is in a position to credibly end or withdraw the United States from this conflict at the moment. On top of that, as far as Iran is concerned, this is a question of who has the longer breath, a question of who has higher pain levels or ability to absorb pain. And Iran has demonstrated that its ability to absorb pain, its levels are extremely high, far higher than the United States in an election year. And we'll have to see how high in terms of comparison to Israel.
A final question. If Iran and Israel are not inclined to end the war, but the U.S. is inclined to end the war, 1 out of 3, could the U.S., I think we had Mr. Trump yesterday saying there's alignment with Israel, but not complete agreement on objectives. What pressure can he put on Israel should Washington want to end this war? Final question.
He obviously can put pressure if he wanted to. He can impose a weapons embargo if Israel is not willing to go along with it. There are all kinds of, he can restrict funding for Israel. He can remove diplomatic cover from Israel. Those are all measures that Mr. Trump, as well as other U.S. presidents, have refrained from engaging with. And so the question is whether he will really exert that kind of pressure. I think more importantly, his problem is that he doesn't have a way of credibly exiting the war, at least not as long as Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz.
Thanks for that. James Dorsey, Adjunct Senior Fellow at S. Rajan School of International Studies from Nanyang Technological University, speaking to us there from Chiang Rai in Thailand.